Switching gears a little bit to this behind the violence slide. To better understand this crisis, it's important to understand why this violence is happening. The main cause of violence and animosity towards the Rohingya people is a difference in ethnic and religious identity. Majority of the people in Myanmar are Buddhist, while the Rohingya people are Muslim. When the British colonized Myanmar in the 1800s, it brought an influx of Muslims to the Rakhine state, beginning this religious division. And the initial event that caused the divide between the Muslims and the Buddhists in this area um, happened during World War II. The Muslims sided with the British colonizers, while the Buddhists sided with the Japanese. The Buddhists eventually gained independence from British rule in 1948. Um, the division created in the war led to rebellion uprising by the Rohingya Muslims after the Buddhists regained their independence. Since then, tensions have amplified, eventually leading to the displacement of millions of Rohingya people.
Now let's discuss the migration of the Rohingya people. So, because the Myanmar government has effectively institutionalized discrimination against this ethnic group through restrictions on marriage, family planning, employment, education, religious choice, and freedom of movement, there has been a mass migration of Rohingya people to Bangladesh, Thailand, and Malaysia. You can see in the image on the left the migration paths taken by the fleeing Rohingyas. The majority of them are fleeing to Bangladesh because it is the closest on foot. The image on the right shows where the refugee camps are in Bangladesh and their large population size. As you can see, there are only two official refugee camps, and the rest are camps that contain the overflow of Rohingya people entering the country. Being that the Rohingya people are stateless, it makes it challenging for them to move about the world and find shelter in neighboring countries. Once they reach these countries, they have few, if any, belongings and are in search of shelter, food, drinking water, and often health care. People might ask why they don't stay and fight for their land, and the sad answer is that their homeland has been demolished and continues to burn and fade away.
So, to discuss the actions taken against this crisis, currently in Myanmar, government officials have denied any sort of ethnic cleansing and have dismissed any criticism for their handling of the situation. Basically, little to nothing has been done by the government to help these people out. Thankfully, outside organizations such as Mercy Corps have taken important steps to provide necessities to the people in the refugee camps. They've been providing food, water, aid, shelter, and things of those natures, and are currently exploring ways to increase the aid to these people. In November, Gambia filed an international lawsuit against Myanmar for their handling of the situation, and in January, the International Court of Justice unanimously ruled that Myanmar needs to take steps immediately to defuse the situation and protect against a genocide. There has also been large military sanctions against Myanmar from countries such as the United States, Australia, Canada, and the European Union, as well as um, sanctioned them militarily. Another action that has been taken is countries, again, like the United States, Canada, Norway, and South Korea, have provided humanitarian assistance, and there has been a lot of international organizations coming in to help these people out as well. So, to discuss the next steps needed to be taken in order to defuse this crisis, in the short term, the main goal is to ensure that the Rohingya refugees are safe and have necessary supplies to live. These people have been displaced from their homes and are required to live in refugee camps. And it's important to make sure these people maintain a quality of life by providing necessary supplies for that. Unfortunately, this battle is against hatred that has been stirred up for multiple generations. This is not something that's going to change quickly. This is going to require a large scale change in government policy and large scale change in the way people are going about their daily lives. Continuing to increase humanitarian aid and continued economic and military sanctions will increase pressure on the government and bring attention to the region and hopefully expose the wrongdoings of the government. Also, stabilizing the Southeast Asian region and stabilizing the surrounding governments in Southeast Asia will allow those countries to provide aid and provide shelter for the people who have been displaced by this crisis.
Discussion questions. Number 1. Why do you think the UN sent peace officers? Question number 2. What would be a better way to advocate for the Rohingya refugees? Question number 3. How could media change this crisis? What would make it better or worse? Question number 4. Who is responsible for telling the Rakhine State and Myanmar to stop this ethnic cleansing? Question number 5. Do you think the Rohingya people should have the rights to become citizens in the Rakhine State? Question 6. Is this situation violating the human rights of Rohingya Muslims? This is the end of our presentation. I hope you have enjoyed, and I hope everyone is staying safe and healthy.